This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming production at the Iowa City Community Theater, just in time for Halloween, Dracula. Christina Patrimonis is the director, and Josh Cezanne is, you play Renfield, yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, hi, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, we've read the book, we've seen all the movies.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, Christina, about how the play differs, or maybe doesn't differ, from all of the other versions of this story we've ever seen.
Sure. Well, Stephen Dietz wrote this play, and it's special because he really wanted to restore the suspense aspect of the novel. So it takes out all of the camp. So there are still humorous moments, but it's meant to be frightening and to really make you think and put the mystery back. And as much as he can, he stays true to the plot.
Okay. And Josh, as Renfield, you play the first evil henchman in all of literature.
Well, I prefer to call him the wacky sidekick myself. He starts and ends the show, which is never a bad thing. He has a great death scene. He gets covered with blood, so it's all great fun.
Really can't have much more fun than that.
Well, that's a big reason why I'm doing it right now.
Was there any challenge playing, such an archetypal character, kind of getting into his head without resorting to cliches?
Oh, no, you revel in the cliches, I think, for this one. Now, in a weird kind of way, Renfield is an odd character. When you talk about the story of Dracula, the ones that usually come up are, well, Dracula himself, of course, Van Helsing, the fearless vampire stalker, the damsel in distress, Mina, the victim. Renfield usually gets relegated to a little bit to the sidelines, and rightfully so. You shouldn't turn the spotlight away from old bloody boy himself. But especially with this adaptation, I think a lot of the humor is put into this particular character, the character of Renfield, and I'd like to think there's also a little bit of depth in this particular character. He's the first victim, as it were. And in a weird kind of way, he's the person who actually guides the audience through the lore of the vampire. This is what actually happens. And as I said, he dies in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler!
Sorry. Someone has to.
Christina,
Yes.
kind of the same question. Talk to me about taking this story that we know so well, and trying to keep it in the period, but still give it a fresh spin.
Sure. Well, it's set in Victorian England, so we thought it would be fun to have the sort of the concept of Victorian England, but give it little tweaks here and there. So the costumes will have little frills, and they won't be so heavy. The set will largely be conceptual, but then with realistic furniture. And so we wanted to get the feeling of Dracula as a really horrible dream. So you feel like you're trapped in this dream. So you have all of the ideas and the feelings of being in the book without being really stuck and weighed down with being in Victorian England.
What's your favorite moment in the show so far?
Oh, my favorite moment in the show is when one of our lovely females turns into a vampire, and she has a gorgeous and shocking transition, and it gets me every time, and I remember that we are doing a vampire play.
Who made your blood?
Stephen Polchert, yes, and he's great. He's come up with lots of different ways to do blood because it'll be on the neck.
It's used in several
yes,
ways.
Yes,
Yeah, not to
many
get,
different ways.
not to get too gross, but you can't. It's got to look right.
It's got to look right. Yeah.
I've been told that back in the day, before color films, they used chocolate syrup.
Oh, that's
because
interesting.
the color didn't matter.
Sure,
and it was
just the
only after
consistency.
films began to be in color that they had to figure out a way to make it red.
Wow, that's interesting.
But I think in this one, the red will flow, definitely.
Yes, yes, we'll see a lot of red.
Well, it's a tale we all know, but one that is always fun, and I think especially fun to kind of with all of the vampire novels and TV shows and takeoffs on this legend, how fun to go back and recall the very first telling of this story.
The original, that's really how we felt.
And one thing that that most people might know, most people are familiar with the Dracula films, either Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee, but there really are I don't think there really are that many people who are familiar with the original novel. And I think that's a big strength of this particular adaptation, how close it hews to the original novel. So people who have just the experience of the Hammer horror films or the Universal Dracula will find this to be a little bit of a novelty, I should think.
I think so too.
Yeah, it ain't True Blood.
No. No, more clothes.
So you open on the 21st,
Yes, we do.
And where will you be staging this?
We'll be at the Johnson County Fairgrounds.
Okay,
in
the
Exhibit
good old home of the Iowa City Community Theater.
That's right. You got it. Yep. Yep.
Excellent. And running through
It's
when?
running through October 30th, so you can make any shows and still be able to go trick-or-treating the next day.
So the weekend's right up until Halloween.
Yep, Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 2 o'clock.
And if people want tickets, how do they get them?
They can go to our website, iowacity.communitytheater.com. That's theater, Theatre. They can call 319-338-0443, or they can show up at the door, though I do recommend coming about a half hour ahead of time to make sure you get a seat.
Okay, all right. Christina and Josh from the Iowa City Community Theater production of Dracula. Have fun with it.
Thank you so much.